I wanted to buy Grandma's house, but Mom said, "Let your sister have it, she's the favorite." I had no idea that I bought all the properties next door, but when they discovered what I had done, they regretted it. I was standing in Grandma's garden while Mom's words still echoed in my ears. "Let your sister have it. She's the favorite after all." She had said it as casually as commenting on the weather. I'm Samara, and this garden had been my sanctuary since I was old enough to follow Grandma around, stumbling with a tiny watering can. Now, just 2 weeks after her funeral, my mother had decided my sister, Isla, deserved this piece of heaven more than me. "Samara." Mom's sharp voice interrupted my thoughts. "Come inside, we need to discuss the paperwork." I quickly wiped my eyes and headed into the kitchen, where Mom and Isla were sitting at the worn oak table, the same table where Grandma taught me to roll out cookie dough and whispered her secret recipe for happiness. Create something beautiful, share it with others, and watch the joy multiply. Sign here. Mom pushed the papers toward me. "It's just a formality to transfer the deed to Isla." "Don't worry, little sis." Isla smiled, that condescending smile I knew all too well. "You can visit whenever you like. Maybe I'll even let you tend to those old roses." My hand trembled as I reached for the pen. Did anyone even ask if I wanted the house? Mom's eyes narrowed. "Samara, don't be difficult. Isla has a family to think about, and you're still." She made a dismissive gesture. "Finding yourself." "Oh, finding myself?" I laughed, but it sounded hollow. "I run my own consulting business. I earn more than Isla does at her corporate job." "That little online thing you do?" Mom scoffed. "Isla has stability, responsibility. She needs this house more than you do." I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. "Grandma taught me everything about this garden. Every plant has a story she shared with me, while Isla was too busy with her friends to visit." "Exactly why you don't need the house," Isla interrupted. "You already have the memories. I need to create new ones with my kids." The words of my best friend Meha from last night echoed in my head. "Don't let them see you crumble. No matter what, stay strong and strategic." I took a deep breath and signed the papers, watching Isla's triumphant smile grow. "Congratulations," I said, my voice steady. "I hope you appreciate what you've been given." As I walked towards the door, Mom called out, "Don't be dramatic, Samara. Family decisions aren't always fair, but they're for the greater good." I paused, glancing back at the kitchen where so many of my childhood memories lived. "You're right, Mom. Sometimes they're not fair at all." Walking down the familiar driveway one last time, I noticed a for sale sign on the empty house next door. I stopped, staring at it while an idea began to form. The property shared a fence with Grandma's beloved garden. My phone buzzed with a text from Michelle. "How did it go?" I replied quickly. "They did exactly what we expected. Time for Plan B. Can you meet me at the cafe in 20? On my way." Bringing my realtor contact too. I smiled for the first time that day, remembering another one of Grandma's lessons. Sometimes the best revenge is building something beautiful right under someone's nose. Looking back at the house one last time, I saw Mom through the window, probably already planning renovations that would erase Grandma's touch. They had no idea what I was about to do. My phone rang. It was Craig, my business consultant. Perfect timing. "Remember you said I should invest my earnings in property? Finally ready to take that leap?" I asked. "More than ready. Where do I even start?" I walked towards my car, determination in every step. "How fast can you help me set up an LLC? Let's do this." "Give me until tomorrow morning, but Samara, are you sure about this? Real estate is a big commitment." I looked back at the for sale sign, imagining the possibilities. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. They think they know what I'm capable of. Time to show them how wrong they are. As I drove away, I caught one last glimpse of Grandma's roses in my rearview mirror. "Watch me, Grandma," I whispered. "I'm about to create something beautiful, just like you taught me. And this time no one can take it away. Asking price is $350, but I think we can get it for $320. Nicole, Michelle's realtor contact, said as we walked through the empty house next to Grandma's. "Needs work, but the bones are good." I ran my hand along the wall, already seeing the possibilities. "How fast can we close? Eager, are we?" Nicole grinned, her eyes sharp and knowing. "I like that. With cash, we could close in 2 weeks. I pulled out my phone and sent a quick message to Craig about transferring the funds from my business account. Michelle whistled. Girl, you are not playing around. I learned from the best, I said, thinking of Grandma's business acumen. Everyone saw the sweet old lady with her roses, but few knew she had built a small empire of rental properties before retiring. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. I declined it and turned to Nicole. What about the property on the other side? Nicole's eyebrows shot up. Actually, that owner contacted me yesterday. They're considering selling. Perfect. Let's make an offer before it even goes on the market. Samara. Michelle grabbed my arm. Are you sure about this? That's a lot of capital to tie up all at once. I led them to the window overlooking Grandma's garden, where Isla was already ripping out rose bushes to make room for a playground. I've never been more sure. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in Craig's office, reviewing the paperwork for my second property acquisition. The community development proposal looks solid, he said, sliding a folder across his desk. But sure about the business incubator concept for women? Absolutely. This area needs it, and I know exactly who to bring in first. I displayed Amelia's Instagram page, showcasing her handmade jewelry. Local artisans like her just need space and support to grow. Craig nodded slowly. Actually, it's brilliant. Renovation costs are high, but the potential return is more than just financial. Though that part won't hurt either. I finished signing. My phone buzzed again. Another missed call from Mom. I'd been dodging family dinners for weeks, making excuses about work. Speaking of family, Craig said carefully, have you told them any of this? I laughed. Mom still thinks I play internet games for a living. Let them keep thinking that. Later that afternoon, I met with Amelia at a local coffee shop. Her eyes widened as I laid out my vision for the space. Are you serious? She asked, gripping her coffee cup. You'd really give local artists dedicated studio space? Not give. Rent. But at below market rates. Plus, shared resources, marketing support, and a built-in community. I slid the proposal across the table. You'd be our anchor tenant. This is. She choked back tears. This is exactly what I've been dreaming of, but I couldn't afford it on my own. I know. That's why we're building it. I thought of all the times Mom had dismissed my ideas. Sometimes you have to create what you wish existed. My phone buzzed once more. This time it was Isla. Mom's worried about you. You never come around anymore. The house renovations are almost done. Don't you want to see? I typed back, busy with work. Maybe next week. Looking up, I saw Amelia studying the architectural blueprints. When can you start? She asked. Construction begins next month. We should be ready for move-in within 4. Count me in, she said firmly, pulling out her checkbook for the deposit. That night I stood outside my first property, watching the contractors finish up for the day. Nicole appeared beside me, holding 2 coffee cups. You know, she said, handing me one. When Michelle first told me your plan, I thought it was just real estate revenge. I sipped my coffee, watching the sunset paint the buildings gold. Maybe it started that way. But now it's about building something meaningful. Something Grandma would be proud of. I turned to her. Speaking of which, how's the offer on the third property going? Nicole smiled. They accepted this morning. Congratulations. You're about to own the entire block. Except for one house in the middle. I glanced over at Grandma's house, where Isla's kids were playing in what used to be the rose garden. It's okay. They have no idea they're about to be surrounded by something amazing. My phone buzzed with a text from Michelle. Your mom's asking questions about your secret project. What should I tell her? I grinned and replied. Tell her I'm still finding myself. She'll love that. Looking out at my growing empire, I felt Grandma's presence stronger than ever. Just wait, I whispered to the evening air. This is only the beginning. The construction dust had barely settled when Amelia sold her first piece from her new studio. I watched her wrap the intricate necklace for a customer, her hands steady but eyes shining. I can't believe this is real, she said after the customer left. 3 sales in 1 day, Samara. That's more than I used to make in a month working out of my garage. I smiled, remembering Grandma's words about joy multiplying. Just wait until the other studios are filled. We're creating a destination here. The bell above the door chimed as Nicole walked in, waving a folder. Guess who just got approval for the commercial district rezoning? No way. I grabbed the folder, scanning the documents. This means we can move forward with the cafe and workshop spaces? All approved. Nicole paused dramatically. And you're on the shortlist for the Young Entrepreneur Award. Ceremony's next month. My celebration was cut short by my phone ringing. Isla. I hesitated before answering. Where are you? She demanded. Mom's birthday dinner is in an hour. My stomach dropped. I completely forgotten. Sorry, got caught up with my secret internet business. I mumbled. Just come. Mom's already annoyed you missed the housewarming party. After hanging up, I turned to Nicole and Amelia. I have to go. Can you handle the contractor meeting tomorrow morning? We got it, Nicole said. But Samara, they're going to find out eventually. I grabbed my keys, already dreading the night ahead. Not until it's all perfect. 30 minutes later, I walked into my childhood home, where Mom held court in the living room. Finally, Mom exclaimed. We were starting to think you'd forgotten how to find us. Happy birthday, Mom. I handed her a carefully wrapped package. Sorry I'm late, work's been intense. Oh yes, your computer work. She made a dismissive gesture. Isla. Tell everyone about your promotion. I sat through dinner, picking at my food while Isla touted her new executive position. Mom beamed with pride, barely noticing when I received an urgent text from Craig. Major property developer interested in touring properties tomorrow. This could be huge for the project. Samara. Mom's sharp voice cut through my thoughts. Are you even listening? Isla was asking about your little online business. I looked up to find everyone staring at me. It's going well, actually. Oh yeah. Isla interrupted, probably still playing with her website things. Remember when she thought she could make a living selling stuff online? That was 10 years ago, I muttered under my breath, thinking of the 7-figure revenue my little business generated last year. Well, at least it keeps you busy, Mom said. Though you really should consider a real job like your sister. Security's important at your age. My phone buzzed again. This time, a picture from Amelia showing a sold-out sign on her studio door. I smiled, remembering the tears in her eyes when she first saw the space. What's so interesting on your phone? Isla peered over. Another cat video? I locked the screen quickly. Just work stuff. After dinner, I escaped to the backyard, seeking refuge in the familiar space. The rose garden was gone, replaced by plastic play equipment. My chest tightened seeing it so different. Different, isn't it? Mom's voice came from behind me. Isla's really made this place her own. Yes, she has. I touched the fence where Grandma's climbing roses used to be. Everything changes, I guess. Speaking of changes. Mom crossed her arms. What's really going on with you? All these mysterious meetings, you're never around. I considered telling her everything. About the properties, the business incubator, the award nomination. Instead I said, just trying to find my way, Mom. Like you always wanted. Back in my car I called Michelle. I almost told them tonight. Why didn't you? I started the engine, glancing at the lights twinkling in my properties surrounding Grandma's house. Because they're not ready to see me succeed on my own terms. Tomorrow's meeting with the developer could change all that, Michelle reminded me. You can't keep this a secret much longer. I know. I pulled away from the curb, watching Isla's perfect life play out through the windows. But when they find out, I want it to be impossible to ignore. My phone lit up with a message from Nicole. The Chamber of Commerce wants to feature our Women's Business Center in their annual report. Ready to go public? I grinned, thinking of Mom's dismissive gesture and Isla's condescending smile. Not yet, I replied. But soon. Very soon. The streetlights illuminated my growing empire as I drove home, each window representing another dream taking flight. Grandma would have understood. Sometimes the sweetest success is the one no one sees coming. The offer is substantial, Craig said, sliding the developer's proposal across his desk. 5 times what you've invested so far. They want the whole block. I stared at the number, remembering Mom's words about real jobs. And if I say no, they'll probably just raise the offer. Craig leaned back. But that's not why you're hesitating, is it? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A group text from Mom. Family gathering this Saturday. No excuses, Samara. Everyone's asking about you. Perfect timing, I murmured, showing Craig the message. They still think I play with websites, and now I have to decide whether to sell a multi-million-dollar development. The door burst open and Nicole rushed in, waving a newspaper. We're on the front page of the business section. Local entrepreneur transforms historic district into business hub for women. My heart skipped a beat. Please tell me they didn't use my name. Relax. Nicole handed me the paper. They respected your wishes. But Samara, you're speaking at the Chamber of Commerce next month. People are going to find out. I quickly scanned the article, relief turning to pride as I read about Amelia's success story and the waiting list for studio space. Maybe it is time they knew. Saturday arrived too quickly. I pulled up to Isla's house, Grandma's house, where cars already lined the street. Through the window, I could see Mom holding court in the living room. There's my mysterious sister, Isla called out as I walked in. Finally decided to join the land of the living. Been busy, I said, accepting her air kiss. How's the house? Perfect. Now that we've modernized everything. Though the neighborhood's getting weird. All these artsy shops popping up everywhere. I suppressed a smile. Really? Hadn't noticed. Samara. Mom's voice cut across the room. Come tell everyone about your internet hobby. Your cousin Janet's son is good with computers too. I walked over, silently counting to 10. Actually, Mom, it's not just little web pages. Mom was explaining to the relatives, as Isla here was just appointed partner at her firm. Talk about success. Isla interjected. We're thinking of buying the house next door, when that weird art gallery moves out. Turn it into a proper family complex. I choked on my drink. The gallery's moving? Well, not yet, Isla smirked smugly. But once we make an offer, I'm sure they'll see reason. That whole business seems shaky anyway. My phone buzzed. A text from Amelia. Just sold a $5,000 commission piece. Gallery's completely booked for next month's show. Everything all right? Mom asked, noticing my expression. You look flushed. Fine, I managed. Just work stuff. Or your website things. Aunt Susan patted my hand. You know, the supermarket is hiring if you need something more stable. The doorbell rang, saved by Craig's perfect timing. Excuse the interruption, he said smoothly. But we need Ms. Mo's signature on some urgent documents. Now. Mom frowned. We're having a family gathering. It's fine. I stood up. This will just take a minute. Outside, Craig handed me a folder. The developers doubled their offer. Words out about the Chamber of Commerce speech, and they want to close before it goes public. I looked through Grandma's front window at my family, then at the thriving businesses surrounding them. Tell them no. No? Samara, it's not about the money. I finished his sentence. Look what we've built here. Every woman in those buildings has a story like mine. Someone told them they couldn't, shouldn't, weren't enough. Now they're proving everyone wrong. Craig nodded slowly. The press will be at the chamber speech. Your family will find out about everything. Good. I watched Isla pointing across the window at the gallery, probably already plotting its expansion. Let them see exactly what their website girl has been doing. Back inside, Mom cornered me by the stairs. What was that about? What documents? Just business stuff, Mom. Business. She chuckled. Samara, making websites for people isn't a real business. When are you going to? Mom. Isla called. Come look at these renovation plans. We're thinking of expanding once we buy these ridiculous shops. I watched them huddle over the blueprints, completely oblivious to who actually owned those ridiculous shops. My phone buzzed again. Nicole this time. Local Business Weekly wants to do a cover story. Ready to show your family who's boss? Looking at Mom and Isla plotting the takeover of my empire, I replied. Schedule the interview. It's time they learned what their website girl can do. The karma of their dismissal was about to come full circle, and I couldn't wait to see their faces when they realized who really owned the neighborhood. You want me to do what? I stared at Nicole across the conference table. Have lunch with your mother and sister, she repeated. At Amelia's new cafe. The Business Weekly photographer wants candid shots of you in your element, and family adds a personal touch. I laughed dryly. Remember, these are the same people who think I play with websites all day. Exactly, Michelle chimed in. Time to show them the empire you built right under their noses. After some coaxing, she texted Mom. Lunch tomorrow? There's a new cafe I want to try. Finally, she replied. Isla can join too. She's been wanting to scope out these new businesses anyway. Evaluate the competition before we expand. The next day, I arrived early and found Amelia arranging fresh flowers on the tables. Her cafe, connected to her jewelry studio, had become the heart of our little community. Ready for this? She asked, straightening the centerpiece on my favorite table. As ready as I'll ever be. I checked my phone. They should be here any minute. Samara. Mom's voice boomed across the space. This place is interesting. Very artsy. Isla trailed behind her, eyeing the exposed brick walls and local artwork. A bit pretentious, don't you think? But the location is perfect for our expansion plans. Welcome to Bloom Cafe. Amelia approached with menus. I'm the owner. Please have a seat anywhere you like. Mom barely glanced at her. Yes, well, we won't be staying long. Just indulging my daughter's fascination with these ephemeral shops. We sat at my usual table, where I could see the entire bustling cafe. Women with laptops collaborated in corners, artists sketched in window seats, and the lunch rush was beginning. So, Mom stirred her coffee. Have you given any more thought to getting a real job? These little businesses won't last once we properly develop the area. Before I could respond, Nicole walked in with a photographer. Mom frowned. What's going on? Ms. Mose? The photographer approached our table. Could we get a few shots of you with your family for the Business Weekly cover? Cover? Mom looked bewildered. What cover? The feature story on successful women entrepreneurs. Nicole explained gently. Samara is being honored for transforming this neighborhood. Mom's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. What are you talking about? I took a deep breath. Remember those little websites I make? That was just the beginning. I own this building and the one next door and the one after that. Don't be ridiculous, Mom scoffed. You can't afford. Actually, Nicole interrupted. Samara owns the entire block. Except for your house. In fact, I added quietly, my online business generated enough capital for 7 figures last year. Those little websites paid for all of this. The color drained from Isla's face. But we were going to expand. Buy these properties. You can't buy what's not for sale. I gestured around the cafe. Every woman here has a story like mine. Someone told them they weren't enough. Now they're thriving. Mom's hands trembled as she set down her cup. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I met her eyes. You never took me seriously before. Why start now? The photographer snapped pictures as realization dawned on their faces. Amelia approached with our lunch, each plate artfully arranged. The usual, Samara? She smiled. Add extra rose petals to the salad, I added. Just like Grandma liked it. Mom's head snapped up. You knew my mother? Samara told me all about her, Amelia said. That's why we named the cafe Bloom. After her rose garden. The one that used to be next door. Isla pushed her plate away. I can't believe. Believe it, Nicole said, spreading out the Business Weekly proofs. Samara's created something remarkable here. The Chamber of Commerce speech next week will make it official. Speech? Mom whispered. On empowering local women entrepreneurs, I explained. Turns out my little hobby had bigger plans. The photographer captured Mom's stunned expression, Isla's deflated posture, and my quiet confidence. Perfect for the cover story. From overlooked to unstoppable. How one woman built an empowerment empire. I need some air. Isla stood abruptly. This is too much. Mom remained seated, staring at the business photos spread before her. All this time while we were dismissing you, you were building something beautiful. I finished her sentence. Just like Grandma taught me. As they left the cafe visibly shaken, Michelle squeezed my shoulder. How does it feel? I watched through the window as they looked up and down the street, truly seeing my creation for the first time. Like karma had just served the perfect lunch. My phone buzzed. A text from Craig. Another developer called. Double the last offer. I replied, watching my family retreat to Grandma's house, now surrounded by my success. Still not for sale. Some things are worth more than money. The roses might be gone from Grandma's garden, but her legacy was blooming stronger than ever, right under their noses. The Business Weekly issue hit newsstands on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, my phone was ringing off the hook. Have you seen your mother's Facebook post? Michelle's voice was strained. You have to see this. I opened Mom's page and found a lengthy public rant. My daughter has been secretly buying properties around our family home. Instead of supporting her sister's expansion dreams, she's turned our quiet neighborhood into some kind of feminist business experiment. I don't even recognize her anymore. Feminist business experiment? I laughed despite myself. Actually, not a bad tagline. Samara, this is serious. Michelle insisted. Isla's commenting too. Before I could respond, Nicole burst into my office. The Chamber of Commerce called. They've moved your speech to the main auditorium. Ticket requests are overwhelming. Perfect timing, I murmured, showing her Mom's post. They're trying to paint me as the villain. Then let's show them the hero you really are. Nicole pulled out her tablet. Look at these numbers. Employment's up 40% in the area. Property values increased, crime down. You're not destroying the neighborhood, you're saving it. My phone buzzed. Isla calling. After 3 days of silence, she finally wanted to talk. I took a deep breath and answered. How could you do this to me? She demanded. You knew I wanted to expand. And you knew I loved this neighborhood. I responded calmly. You just never thought I'd do anything about it. Mom's devastated. Keeps saying she doesn't understand where she went wrong with you. I stood, walking to my office window overlooking the bustling street below. She went wrong? Look outside, Isla. Look at what I've built. What exactly is wrong with that? It's not about the businesses, she snapped. It's about you doing it behind our backs. Like you did behind my back with Grandma's house. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. At least I built something new instead of destroying what was already there. Silence filled the line. Finally, Isla spoke quietly. The chamber speech is tomorrow night. Are you really going through with this? Front row seats are reserved for family, I said. Whether you use them or not is up to you. After hanging up, I went down to Amelia's cafe. The lunch rush was in full swing. Every table filled with women working, creating, collaborating. The usual? Amelia asked, already preparing my tea. Actually, I need your help. All of your help. I looked around at the women who had become my real family. Tomorrow night, I want to show my mother and sister what we've really built here. The following night, I stood backstage at the Chamber of Commerce, peeking through the curtain. The auditorium was packed, but my eyes locked on the front row. 2 empty seats stared back at me. They're not coming, I said to Michelle. Wait, she pointed to the entrance. Mom and Isla were being escorted to their seats. Both looked uncomfortable under the bright lights. The chamber president introduced me, reading off our accomplishments. Job creation, community development, economic growth. With each point, I watched Mom's expression shift from disdain to confusion to something resembling awe. I stepped up to the podium, my hands steady. Everyone expects me to talk about business strategy tonight. Instead, I want to tell you about my grandmother's roses. The room fell silent. In the front row, Mom straightened. She taught me that beauty multiplies when you share it. That success isn't what you own, but what you create. I gestured to the women filling the seats. Every person here has a story about someone who told them they couldn't, shouldn't, weren't enough. Tonight, they're proving those voices wrong. Amelia stood first, then Nicole, then dozens of other women whose lives have been transformed by our little feminist business experiment. This isn't about revenge, I continued, meeting Mom's eyes. It's about legacy. About taking what someone taught you about love and growth and planting those seeds where they can flourish. Tears rolled down Mom's cheeks as Amelia stepped forward, presenting her with a specially crafted necklace. Roses wrought in silver and gold, wrapped around a key. What is this? Mom whispered. The key to our new community garden, I explained. Built where Grandma's roses used to grow. Because some traditions shouldn't be lost, they should be shared. Isla stared at the key, then at me. You're not selling? Even with the developers? Some things are worth more than money, I said. Some things are about family. All kinds of family. As applause filled the auditorium, I watched as understanding finally dawned on their faces. They tried to write my story for me, not realizing I was writing my own all along. And this chapter was just the beginning. After the speech, Mom found me in the reception area, clutching the rose necklace like a lifeline. Can we talk? Privately. I led her to my office, the one overlooking what used to be Grandma's garden. Construction on the new community garden was already underway, soft lights illuminating the progress. I don't know where to begin, Mom said, sinking into a chair. All this time, when we thought you were just playing with websites. You were wrong. I finished, pouring us tea into Grandma's old mugs, which I kept in my office. So wrong, she whispered, her hands trembling around the delicate china. But why didn't you tell us? Would it have mattered? I set down my mug. The day you gave Isla Grandma's house, you told me to let the favorite have it. Those words changed everything. Knock knock. Isla stood in the doorway, mascara streaked down her cheeks. Heard what you said about Grandma's roses. About legacy. Come in, I said, pulling up another chair. The playground, Isla's voice cracked. I didn't even think about what those roses meant to you. I just wanted to make the house mine. Like Mom made everything yours. The words came out sharper than intended. Mom flinched. I never meant. Yes, you did, I interrupted. You always meant to favor Isla. You just never expected it to backfire. Backfire? Isla glanced around the office, taking in the awards, the business plans, the view of my growing empire. Is that what this is? Revenge. No, I stood and walked to the window. This is what happens when you underestimate someone for too long. They might just surprise you. Nicole appeared in the doorway with Amelia. Excuse the interruption, but the reporters want final comments on the community garden project. Mom stood up suddenly. The garden? You're really building it? Even after we destroyed the original one. Come see. I led them to the construction site, where the outline of the new garden was taking shape. It will be different than Grandma's. But that's the point. We're not replacing what's lost, we're creating something new. Amelia touched one of the marked plots. Every business owner has a section to tend. We're planting roses but also herbs for the cafe, flowers for my jewelry designs, vegetables for the community kitchen. Community kitchen? Isla asked. Where local women can launch food businesses without the overhead of a full restaurant. I explained. Just like Grandma taught me. Create something beautiful, share it with others and watch the joy multiply. Mom finished, tears freely flowing now. She always used to say that. I remember. I know, I said softly. Even when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I was learning. From both of you, actually. You? Isla looked surprised. You taught me persistence, Isla. Mom taught me determination. I just applied those lessons differently than you expected. Mom reached for my hand. I'm so sorry, Samara, for making you feel less than. For not seeing me. I completed her thought. But you see me now, don't you? She nodded, looking around at the thriving businesses, the construction, the women coming and going even at this late hour. I see you finally. The garden dedication is next month, Amelia mentioned carefully. We're naming it after your grandmother. Isla wiped her eyes. Could I help? Maybe tend a small plot. I studied my sister, seeing vulnerability replace arrogance for the first time. There's room for everyone. That's the whole point. Mom fiddled with the rose necklace. Your grandmother would be so proud. Not just of what you built, but how you built it. With purpose. With vision. With love, I added. Even when it didn't seem like it. As we stood there, surrounded by the framework of new beginnings, I felt the weight of old resentments finally lift. Mom and Isla saw me now, really saw me. And that was worth more than any revenge could ever be. So, Isla said hesitantly, what happens next? I smiled, thinking of all the plans still unfolding. All the women waiting for their chance to bloom. Next we grow together. This time. Mom squeezed my hand, understanding finally dawning in her eyes. Together. she repeated, looking at both her daughters. Not favorite and forgotten, but equals. At last. Above us, the stars twinkled like Grandma's wise eyes, watching her legacy bloom in ways none of us could have imagined. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's growing into something so magnificent that those who doubted you have no choice but to believe. The morning of the garden dedication, I found Mom already there, kneeling in the dirt with gardening gloves that matched mine. Couldn't sleep, she explained, carefully positioning a rose bush. Kept thinking about all the mornings I watched your grandmother doing this exact same thing. I knelt beside her, inhaling the familiar scent of fresh earth and roses. Though I never thought I'd see you gardening. People can surprise you. She sat back on her heels, studying my face. Like my daughter who built an empire while I was too blind to see it. The sound of car doors made us turn. Isla was helping her kids out of her car, all of them wearing matching gardening aprons. We came to help, her youngest announced, waving a tiny watering can. Perfect timing. I smiled, pointing to the children's section we designed. That whole area needs watering. As the kids ran off, Isla joined us, looking unsure. I brought Grandma's old gardening tools. Found them in the basement. Thought maybe they belong here. I finished, taking the worn toolbox. Just like all of us. Throughout the morning, women arrived, business owners, community members, local leaders. Each brought something to plant, creating a tapestry of colors and textures in the garden beds. Amelia set up a small table, displaying jewelry inspired by the garden. First collection in our new community space, she announced proudly. Each piece tells a story like this one. Mom picked up a necklace with intertwined roses. Reminds me of how your grandmother's roses used to climb the trellis. It's the legacy collection, Amelia explained. Samara helped design it. Mom's eyes filled with tears. It's beautiful. Speaking of legacy, Isla called from across the garden. Come see what the kids found. We gathered around a small marked stone, partially hidden by new plantings. It was Grandma's original garden marker, salvaged from the old garden. I thought this was lost, I whispered. I saved it, Isla admitted. I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. Maybe I knew all along we were wrong to destroy her garden. Nicole appeared with the local news crew, ready for the official dedication. As the cameras rolled, I stood between Mom and Isla, facing our community. This garden represents more than just plants and flowers, I said. It's about growth. Not just of roses but of relationships, businesses, and dreams. It's about family, Mom added unexpectedly, taking my hand. All kinds of family. And second chances, Isla chimed in, squeezing my other hand. The ribbon cutting was followed by a tour of the surrounding businesses. I watched Mom's face as she truly saw what I had built. Not just successful shops, but a thriving ecosystem of support and opportunity. Your grandmother's roses might be gone, she said quietly, but her spirit is everywhere here. Back in the garden, Isla's kids were showing their mother how to properly water the seedlings. Aunt Samara taught us, they proclaimed proudly. Aunt Samara's teaching all of us, Amelia smiled, joining us with cups of tea from her cafe. That's what makes this place special. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over our new garden, Mom pulled me aside. I have something for you. She placed a small key in my hand. What is this? The key to your grandmother's house, she said. Isla and I talked. She's keeping her house, but the garden guest house, the one you always loved, it should be yours. Mom, I don't need. It's not about need, she interrupted. It's about belonging. You belong there then, and you belong here now. We just took too long to see it. The evening ended with all of us, family, friends, community members, sharing stories and plans for the garden's future. Isla's children fell asleep under the new pergola, surrounded by the scent of fresh roses. You know what Grandma would say about all this? I asked, looking around at our assembled family, both blood and chosen. Create something beautiful, Mom began. Share it with others, Isla continued. And watch the joy multiply. We finished together. As the stars emerged above our new garden, I realized that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's growing beyond what anyone thought possible. In trying to prove my worth, I had created something far more valuable than success. A place where everyone could bloom. The old roses might be gone, but new ones were already reaching for the sky. Their roots deep in soil enriched by legacy, forgiveness, and love. Just like Grandma would have wanted.